Foster.
I'm Allison Horn.
And we are the founders of River City Music Management. So Allison and I both have about 10 years experience in the music industry, both in performance, promotions, etc. And one of the biggest problems that we've noticed is that there is a major lack of proper management and development, especially for local artists here in Chattanooga in the early stages. And if any artists are like me, your personal revenues haven't really been reinvested the way they should, more like at the bar. So that's a really big problem, and that just kind of ties together to be just a lack of artist advocacy. So the solution that we are proposing is RCMM. We want to be a one-stop shop for artist development and management, and we aim to properly allocate resources from artists and increase their overall brand value, if you think of them like their own personal business. And we also want to provide business knowledge to empower our artists through application technology. So that will be a major part of the business model. The benefits of this is we're going to help the artists to create a career path rather than something they're just doing for fun. And we want to provide management for them at a very earlier stage than they normally would receive. And we're also going to help them to reinvest their retained earnings. So just a simple form of how this would work is we'll collect and manage the money for the artists. The artists would actually be paid hourly for what we would call value-creating activities, and they'll be paid on a progressive pay scale, which will be tied back to the application. This open book policy is going to empower the artists so they can actually see where their money is being spent, how their resources are being used, and they can watch their brand value increase. Our business revenue model is simple here, but it really gets pretty intricate. I couldn't get into that here. But we'll have venue revenues plus commissions that will come in on our side of it. Our growth plan is we would like to open multiple venues nationwide eventually. We want to franchise that out with this certain business model that we're going to be using. We also want to do further app development to create kind of a social media platform and also a gaming system because everybody's so into gaming and all this kind of stuff and like reward systems from winning, you know, everybody gets like fake badges and stuff on these apps and they go crazy. So we figured if we could tie something in that's monetary, that would be a really good thing for our contracted artists. And we also want to do limited app access to non-contracted artists that just want to be able to manage their funds a little bit better. So what we're currently looking for is just some legal consulting to help develop the management contract, since this is a different business model with the management side of it. We also need IT specialists to help develop the application, web designers to help us with the website, and we are looking for financial professionals with Series 63 certification because we want them to actually be the managers that are assigned artist groups with our company. And then interns, because everybody loves interns. I'm one, so hello, yes. Thank you so much for coming out and listening to us talk. And we can be contacted here. And are there any questions?
I'm going to go back. You may have said this, and I just might have missed it. Who pays you? I assume you're thinking. Yeah. Who's your customer? The artist, I assume.
The artist is the artist is the customer.
And this is a subscription service, or you're charging a fee based upon income?
Okay, so traditionally, like what you would see as an artist is you would get paid a flat rate for performing at a show. The way that we're developing the business model is artists would actually be employees. So they'd be paid hourly for what we call value-creating activities. So once they get paid their hourly money, there's also like a commission that goes on top of that would go into an artist bank. That bank is tied back to the application, so they'll be able to see what all the funds are. They receive more money when they do things like making a music video, studio time, they'll be getting paid hourly as well. So they're actually kind of getting that commissionary money back through their hourly pay when they're going in to do these value-creating activities.
What does your artist development process look like?
So the artist development process that we've kind of been Allison can really speak a lot on this right now, if you want to talk about that a little bit.
Well, basically, we have an academy at River City Music Management where initially I'll send out a new artist profile. They'll fill out basic details about their music, about who they are, how many Twitter, Facebook, YouTube followers that they have. And then by that information, we'll determine where there is the best need for social presence, and so that we can better assist them in getting the artists that they need and everything that they need as far as production quality for their songs, and things like that. So we do have courses that we put them through so that they will be able to be booked by venues such as Track 29 and the Rugby Room, instead of just going directly to the venue to be booked and they're not ready.
Is this solely for independent artists, or can artists that are under contract with other companies also use your product?
If you're under contract with other companies, that might be a little bit tricky just because of the contract aspect of it. But we will work with various levels of artists. That kind of goes into the hourly pay part. Really, we have to do an analysis on each artist that comes in to kind of determine where they're at on the tiers, and those tiers will determine their hourly pay. And as they go through the process and their value increases, which they'll be able to watch through the application, they'll be moving up the tiers to get a higher hourly pay.
So what are you measuring this against? Like, what are your outcomes? So if a person has 1,000 followers, is it by a deadline? If they have 2,000 followers, what's your measurable outcome?
We haven't really talked as much about measuring with followers. We're talking more about like return on investment and like financial ratios that'll be tied to the application that they'll see, and that's really what's going to determine their pay scale, their progressive pay scale.
As director of talent acquisition, a lot of venues, most venues look at your following. They look at how you appeal to the audience. So if we have people requesting for them, that is a leading indicator that we can book these artists, make sure they're ready, they have their website, they have their merchandise, they have everything that they need in order to get the most profit or from their product.
Thank you, ladies.
Thank you.